Okay, so doing another historic breakdown here. This time it's going to be the famous drive that started the Patriots dynasty, and let's just jump into it. There's a minute and 21 seconds left right now, and they're at their own 16-yard line, so, this is when John Madden famously said, let's just play it for overtime. I wouldn't try to risk anything here. A big part of that is because they have no timeouts left, so getting the ball all the way into field goal range, it's not going to be easy, but New England, they're going to try and see if they can do it here. So on the first play, first things first, what's going to happen is that it's going to be a cover 2 zone that the New England Patriots are going to be going up against. But actually, that's not really what I want you to take a look at right when the ball is snapped. Mostly what I want you to watch is going to be the right tackle in his one-on-one matchup. Mostly because he's going to lose his one-on-one matchup. As you see, there's pressure off the edge right off the bat. And, how often have we seen this situation happen where there's pressure off the edge, quarterback tries to throw, and then the edge rusher is able to hit the hand of the quarterback, it turns into a fumble? We see that all the time. Even if the quarterback isn't throwing, sometimes just the edge rusher getting his hand to where the ball area is could result in a fumble, and obviously a fumble here would just be devastating as the Rams could kill the clock and kick a last-second field goal to win the Super Bowl. And while the edge rusher is going to try to get his hand into where the ball area is, Brady does not allow it to get ripped out and starts running forward. Now he's basically in panic mode, just trying to run to see where he can try to gain some yards. But he does notice he has a back right there. He can take a check down. He flips it up to him. They do actually gain a decent gain, but unfortunately the clock is running. So they do have to hurry up to get the ball to be snapped. They gain 5 yards, but now it's a 2nd down and 5, and this is the situation. Again, it's a cover 2 zone. Now with just 54 seconds left, and you only really gained 5 yards. It's not necessarily a great situation, but New England noticed something on that last play. They very quickly figured something out. Brady did. This is all on Brady. Brady, the 24-year-old guy. What he noticed is that last time, very similar to this time, they're going to have 2 receivers go run deep routes. And last time the halfback was open underneath. So this time, with his halfback running underneath, he knows, hey, there's a good chance he's going to get open here. So right after the ball is snapped, he looks over there, realizes that that's open, and they're able to get a first down just like that. They then do go run up to spike the ball, and kind of just crazy going to show that a young Tom Brady so quickly realized just, okay, that's the way they're playing this, then on the very next play, I know exactly what to do. I can just attack it exactly that way. So they do spike the ball. Now there's going to be, again, a very similar thing. It's going to be a cover 2 zone. But for the Rams, they're not going to allow themselves to get beat the way they just got beat. Instead, what they're going to do is have a 3-man rush and have someone drop back right over there. So this way, if the halfback does what he did the last 2 times, it won't be able to work out. It makes a lot of sense from Los Angeles' perspective. But the New England Patriots are thinking one step ahead. They realize that that's something that St. Louis could end up doing, and so what they're going to do is have their halfback actually run out just sort of like that. He'll be running out to the flat on the bottom half of the screen. So this way, they're not even worried about the middle of the field. But now a Ram is going to be dropping back into coverage in an area that he doesn't really have to, which is basically going to take himself out of the play. So as you see, Brady, looks up to the top half of the screen as he does to make it look like that's where he might be throwing the ball, but he has no intention of throwing the ball anywhere other than to where J.R. Redmond, who is his halfback, is. He then just simply quickly flips it to him. Redmond makes a good move and is able to gain another solid gain on that one. Not just that, but he just barely gets out of bounds, which stops the clock with 33 seconds left. Then I'll have the ball at about the 41-yard line. But, they're going to need a chunk play at a certain point. 33 seconds left. You're going to at least need like a 10, 15-yard pickup, and that is what New England is hoping for. But it's not going to happen on this play. What's going to actually happen is that the Rams are going to be playing a cover 1 blitz, which makes a lot of sense. They know New England is going to be expecting to try to get something deep, so let's blitz. They won't be able to throw anything deep, and maybe we can force Tom Brady into a mistake. He is a young quarterback after all. And the New England Patriots are absolutely trying to get something deep going. They're going to have their back just try to make sure that he's blocking on this play, and because of that, this now means that whoever is in charge of covering him is actually going to drop back into coverage. So a lot of moving parts here, but basically what's worth noting is that take a look at what happens right when the ball is snapped. Brady did not do a good job of helping out his offensive line here, and there's going to be some pressure immediately getting through. In fact, 2 Rams are getting straight through to Brady. Meanwhile, again, the back, he doesn't even realize this right now. He's looking up to the top half of the screen. So this has disaster in the making. I mean, if Tom Brady ends up getting sacked here, at the very least, they're almost definitely not getting a field goal. I mean, they'll probably have to spike the ball with like 15 seconds left. You're also losing 10 yards. Trying to get the ball down to field goal range from that point seems like it's probably just has no chance of happening. However, Brady notices this, is able to run just outside the pocket and throw the ball away. In fairness, it's a little bit debatable as to whether or not he was outside the pocket, but I think he was. I think he just got outside the pocket, and that's a tough play. I mean, to try to get outside the pocket that quickly, it's totally the right play to make, because even if you do get a grounding, it's honestly better than a sack. But at that point, I don't think it was grounding. I think he got outside the pocket, which in that situation honestly might have been Brady's best play of the drive, was a throwaway, because avoiding that sack is just so huge, very similar to the first play where he avoided a sack and a potential fumble. Well, again, if he gets blindsided, that's a potential fumble. And once he realized that was going on, if he just gets sacked, well, then they probably at least don't win the game in regulation. And the Rams had all of the momentum heading into this drive, so there's a very real chance that the Rams do win this football game. So, okay, now there's 29 seconds left, still at the 41-ish yard line, and once again for the Rams, they're going to have a defensive tackle drop back into coverage. So the defensive tackle, basically the second defensive lineman closest to the bottom half of the screen, is the guy who's going to drop back. And for the Patriots, they have a receiver running that route right there, but again, now, since there's a player dropping back into coverage, this now means that all of the gaps in this zone coverage are going to be a little bit smaller, so Brady won't have as big of a window to make this throw. One interesting thing to note right after the ball is snapped is that because of the 3-man rush, and you see that edge rusher runs very far to the right side of the screen, this now means that there is going to be a spot right there where Brady can step up and he can have a totally clean throw if that's what he wants. So that is what he's going to do. But not just that, he makes a very accurate throw, and this is the chunk play they needed. Get inside the 40-yard line and get out of bounds with 21 seconds left. You couldn't ask for anything better than that. And now for Tom Brady and the Patriots, they are in business. They absolutely have a shot to give Vinatieri a chance to win it. But again, this would be a long field goal. You ideally would like to gain some yards if possible. And with the Rams, once again, running a cover 1 blitz, which, the idea of the blitz, maybe you can get a sack, push them out of field goal range, but also with the man coverage, hopefully something can work out. However, for New England and for the Patriots, that's the route that Brady is going to look to throw the ball to. It's Jermaine Wiggins' route, which is a tight end. A lot of teams might not necessarily look to their tight end in the big moment, but they trust Wiggins here, and they especially like the route, so that is where Brady's going to look to throw the ball to. And especially because, as you see right when the ball is snapped, when he does his fake to the middle of the field, his defender is totally falling for it, which makes sense. I mean, a quick route over the middle is something you have to be weary of if you are playing man coverage in a cover 1 blitz. But because of this little fake, it ends up being the perfect route against this type of coverage, and there absolutely will be a window for Brady to make this throw. And if you look at Brady, he's already in the throwing motion. He sees what's going on instantly, and he's ready to make a play. Brady does make that throw. They get the ball to about the 30-yard line, and at this point, they're not going to mess around. They say, we have Adam Vinatieri. Let's spike the ball, and let's let Vinny give us a chance to win it. Of course, as we all know, Vinatieri does end up kicking the game-winning field goal, although there totally was at least 1 second left on the clock. Not that it would have mattered, but definitely without a doubt, the Rams should have had a chance to sort of try a Music City Miracle type play. But nevertheless, I mean, just such a cool play, I think, such a cool drive, and obviously such a historic moment for the New England Patriots and for Tom Brady. It started it all. It's crazy to think that a 24-year-old guy was able to run a drive like that where he didn't get over anxious. He played like a veteran, so to speak. I know it's a cliche, but Brady really embodied that cliche in his young career. He's always been such a smart player, and it was really exemplified in the last game of his first season. I think it also always goes to show when you talk about these things, there's always so many little things that if just one small thing went different, the whole thing could have changed. I think that very first play, there was an edge rusher very close to knocking the ball out of Brady's hands, but Brady sort of got his hands around. And if he doesn't do that, it's a fumble. The Rams maybe get the ball, and if they do, they win the game easily. So, those small things really mean so much. I mean, how crazy would the course of history of the NFL be different had the greatest show on turf won both of those Super Bowls, and the Patriots would have one less. Brady would have 5 instead of 6. He would be only 5-4 in Super Bowls. Again, that's still pretty good, no doubt about it. But it's just interesting how the course of history can change of those small things, but it didn't. History is history, and really a fun drive. So I wanted to break it down. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.